Okay, what am I doing? Hi. That's Cat up there on the catwalk. We have a stupid catwalk in our stupidly designed house, and there's a cat, and she's wearing cat ears, so triple cat. She wants to see how awkward her mother can be, and she's realized, whoa, really awkward. But I will edit all this out. So, hi, and welcome back to All Things Equilateral. I am doing something a little different today. I saw Kat do it, and so, you know, Kat to just hop on board and do the same thing as my daughter does. I don't know who actually started this. Oh, Kat, who started this?
I actually don't know who started it either, but I saw Emma Books did it.
Okay, so we're crediting Emma Books with starting this, but I think that there might have been someone else. So I'm gonna link Emma Books' video down below, and hopefully she credits the right person, because I hate that. I hate when people don't credit, you know. But here we go. So today we're gonna talk about books I changed my opinion on. You guys, I have seen a number of top booktubers do this, and every single time I'm like, oh yeah, or no, that's not, I still feel the same way about that book. But I think Jessie the Reader mentioned this book. It came out in what I refer to as my post-Twilight haze, where I was reading pretty much anything that was Twilight-ish. And the author was a debut author, so I thought, let's give it a whirl. It had a gorgeous cover. Here it is. Hush Hush, Becca Fitzpatrick. I distinctly remember reading the book, and there was a point where the main character pushes the female character against a wall, and it was a really violent gesture, and I know he's supposed to be the ultimate bad boy, but I felt like it was so out of place and weird and violent. I mean, if that was published today, I know that there would be a lot of backlash just against that scene, or at least a trigger warning or whatever. Honestly, it's fiction, it's fantasy fiction, but when I read it, I just thought, I don't like this guy. Now, at the time, I think I gave it 4 stars because I felt bad, and the author is really, really sweet. But I took my review off of Goodreads a couple of years ago, and I just took off the stars too, because thinking about it, I just never liked the character. I can't even think of his name. And I just felt it was really a violent thing to do, even for a bad boy / angel. It's where I always look up at Jace, you know, the Jace in my head. Just kidding. But yeah, hush hush. Okay, the second book is the first book in the Chemical Garden trilogy, Wither. It's the only one I ever read. This world was all sorts of messed up, and it made me question dystopian. I think I read this after, I can't remember, it was before or after Divergent. And you all know how much I hated Divergent. So I fell into this, and I don't know. I think it wanted to be The Handmaid's Tale, but somehow it failed. And it failed in characters, and it failed in world building. And I was just confused by it all, honestly. Maybe it was the polygamy aspect of it that was also sort of just weird, but it's not like, I mean, I'm an adult. I can read pretty much anything. However, it just sat kind of weirdly with me. And yeah, I never went on to read books 2 and 3. I think initially, I don't even remember, maybe my review is still up on Goodreads. I think again, I gave it like 3 stars, but I talked about, I do remember my review on Goodreads, it said it's a really difficult world to wrap your mind around and kind of begin to understand why such a world would exist. Kind of my similar critique to Divergent, where I said never in a million years would such a world exist. Pretty much the same for Wither. Just saying, I know that there are people who loved it. I did like her writing, and I do look forward to eventually reading something else by her, but I gotta say, I'm a little hesitant in case you can't hear it in my tone. The next series is one that I actually loved when it came out, because again, post-Twilight, post kind of City of Bones and City of Glass in particular, Cynthia Hand's Unearthly trilogy came out. I mean, look at the covers, you guys. They are beautiful. The story, however, again, not saying that this can't happen, but took place in like rural Montana. And it was a battle between like angels and everyday folk. And I think there was, in the end, there was a love triangle. And it was between this girl that was partially angel, a boy that was partially angel that she was supposed to be like, you know, linked to somehow. He was supposed to be her suitor or boyfriend, or they were supposed to end up together, and a regular old cowboy. That's kind of where you lose me. You see, I live in a Western state, and it's not my first rodeo. In fact, I really hate pretty much all Western stories. So looking back at it, I think I just kind of liked the angel mythology and probably gave it a much higher rating than I would today. Cynthia Hand is a great author, but I don't know. This trilogy is no longer for me, and this is how I know it's no longer for me. I never read the last book in the series, and nobody even spoiled it for me. So, not for Sophie. Not anymore. Okay, the next book. This is kind of, maybe a controversial one. Graceling, Kristin Cashore. When this came out, it was sort of, again, post-Twilight, kind of post, I think maybe City of Bones, City of Glass was right in there. And this book came out, and it was a fantasy book. And I think it was just so different. People just loved it. It was also the time of Hunger Games. The trilogy was not yet complete, and we wanted kick-ass girl characters. But yeah, I can't even think of the main character's name now. I mean, I read it, and I forgot it. I can't even tell you any of the major plot points in it. That tells you something about the book. I remember, Kat just read Lord of the Flies. Lucky girl, in her freshman English class, and I remembered every plot point even though I read it like 100 years ago. So I usually remember plots, cannot remember anything about Graceling, can't remember the world, vaguely remember the character's name, I think maybe if I really think upon it. So yeah, I kind of avoided, I never went on to read books 2 and 3. That might be my hint. I mean, I might give it a so-so review, or an actually pretty good review, but if I'm not interested in reading book 2 and 3, bye-bye, I'm probably going to change my mind years down the road. For my kids, they're going to love this one. Because at one point, and when I say this, if you've watched my other videos, you're going to know. At one point, I think I bought not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 copies of this book. Lord, I don't know why. Love and Gelato by, I don't even know the author. I read it. It was cute. It wasn't what I expected. I think I wanted like an Anna and the French Kiss, kind of fluffy, happy romance story with some poignant moments, but instead I got a weird little story. It was trying to tie back to the main character's mother and her mother's experience in Italy. Her mother has passed away at the start of the story. I don't know even what to think of this book. I remember thinking that the places were very well described and the food sounded delicious. So if that's all you remember from a book, I probably rated it higher than, you know, what I'd rate it now. For sure. 100%. And I donated all the books too. Actually, I took some back to the store because they arrived. Yeah. Don't ask. It was pretty funny. My kids were laughing, and so was the Barnes & Noble cashier. Books I changed my mind about rating-wise. This one kind of hurts, and it's going to be a surprise because I am an uber fan of the author, you guys. I love this author so much. She can't do absolutely, I mean, there's no wrong. Absolutely zero wrong. Except for the fact that this book came out after the original trilogy was done, and we were told it was done. And we assumed as readers that there was never going to be another book. And I gotta tell you, the last scene in that book was really sweet, but not enough of a payoff for all the pain she put us through, the author, in the first 3 books. I'm talking about, this one hurts, ow, City of Fallen Angels. I know, don't tell Cassie. This book. So, when last we leave Jason Clary, they're at I'm trying to keep this spoiler free and it probably won't work, but they're at a okay moment in City of Glass, let's just say. Most of you have seen the movie and you've seen the horrible TV show, so you know, right? Not a spoiler, but it's an okay moment. And then she can't leave them alone, can she? She puts them through hell all over again. And I just couldn't bring myself to like it as much as I should have. I think I was so excited. I rate all of her books 5 stars. I was so excited about another book in this world. I was so excited to see where my beloved Jace and Clary would go on, and what would they do, and how would they fight these demons, and what happens to Simon and all that stuff. And this was not good. Cassie, you put them through pain again, and it was horrible pain. And you guys, not a huge spoiler, but same villain as in Glass. So, like, really? Yeah. So in retrospect, I think the 5-star, I don't know what I would dial it down to. Maybe 2 to show my pain. 2.5, realistically 3 if I'm feeling generous. Let me know down below if you've changed your mind on some of those ratings that you've put out on Goodreads, you know, years ago, or maybe just a few months ago, and you're like, me, what was I thinking? Because sometimes I do that. Sometimes I rate books because I feel like at the moment, they're really good and they're exactly what I needed. And those ratings are valid. But, you know, sometimes when I think back, over years especially, I'm like, that book wasn't good. What was I thinking? So those were my opinions. I know they differ from yours. Insert disclaimer about not hurting anybody's feelings, because, you know, my opinions. And give me a thumbs up if you choose. Also subscribe, because, you know, I'm going to be putting out some more fun videos like this. Have you noticed? No unboxings this year. I know. A whole new Sophie. See you next time. Thanks for watching.